You're listening to Lee and Chris. Now, I am away on vacay in South Carolina. Yeah. And we weren't going to do anything for, the week I was gone because, obviously, for obvious reasons. So much shit has gone down just in the past, 48 hours?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I want to explain that if it's not our usual totally professional quality, I'm broadcasting from a hotel room over Skype on an Xbox One, and so are Sobe and Chris. So now, Sobe, like I said, I've been on the road, so I didn't know exactly what was happening. Like, I was getting texts from you about, like, all the riots and shit happening in Virginia, and I was driving through Virginia, like, around the same time. Yeah, I don't know how close I was to Charleston, or is that where it was?
Charlottesville.
No, Charlottesville. Yeah.
Oh, Charlottesville. Okay, yeah.
Did you see any gray Challengers drive past you?
No, I didn't.
With the bumper, like, taken off and, like,
stuck in the grill?
Stuck up in the air, yeah.
So, apparently, I guess they were, they want to remove a Robert E. Lee memorial?
This was it was called Robert E. Lee Park, and then I'm not sure when, maybe a couple years ago or so, they changed the name to Emancipation Park.
Of course.
And there's a Robert E. Lee statue in the middle of it with just him on the horse.
Right.
So this Unite the Right rally the purpose of it was to protest the removal of the statue.
Okay.
So what the organizers did was they put in the application for the permit to assemble.
The Unite the Right organizers?
Yeah.
Okay.
And from what I got, it was approved, but then it was revoked by the mayor. So then actually the ACLU helped them get a federal court order that they got their permit reassigned.
Oh, okay. So all in all, they didn't lose their permit.
No, they got one, and what I got was they lost it, and then they got a federal order saying that they could have it and assemble.
Okay. So they had every right to be there to do their assembly, right?
Yeah, and Friday was
now. What about
first.
the Antifa and the rest of the faggots?
I guess this trouble started yesterday, Saturday, because Friday was the actual thing in the park around the statue where they had their torch march.
Yeah, that's what and that's the other thing you told me. You said, like, there was really, because it was more than just Saturday, right? It started on Friday. That's where the whole, like you said, the torch thing happened.
Yeah.
And there was like no problems, right?
No, there was maybe 20 college idiots that stood around the statue there with their stupid little signs or whatever, but that was it. They had their marches and speakers and that, and the Friday night, and that was it. The problem is when Saturday came around, and that's when all the counter-protesters and Antifa came in, and that's when the police and I guess the city declared it an unlawful assembly and kicked them out of the park.
Yeah, and there were all these like little tiny like kind of fights happening between like the right and the left protesters pretty much. So they got it to the point where, some dude did drive into a crowd.
Right.
Because like he said, the first day it was pretty decent. And then they just drew more in and boom. But
well, they do what they always do. They're professional agitators. I mean, it sounds like the right-wing people, from everything I saw and from everything you just told me, and from everything I've been able to find out since it's happened, it sounds like the violence didn't start until Saturday when the rest of the Antifa and BLM people showed up.
But see, that's the thing. Like the dude who drove the car played directly into their hand. Because that's exactly what they want to happen. They're classic bully mentality where it's like, I'm going to keep like slapping you in the face and then you're going to punch me in the throat. And then I'm going to make a big deal about you punching me in the throat.
Well, now, Selby, did you find anything out about that? Because you and me were talking about that a little bit last night, about the driver of that car and that there was something weird. Now the last thing I saw, it was a report that he wasn't like an alt-right person. Well, no, I mean,
like so many different things about it. I've been seeing things that he was, and things profiles that he wasn't. That he's an active duty army officer. But I haven't been able. There's been so many conflicting things saying that he was driving and they were throwing stuff at his car, maybe got afraid and drove into him. But then there was things where he wasn't outright or something, and that he was a Bernie bro kind of guy and just went after the wrong people. So I don't think there's any definitive as of right now about
just enough confusion to kind of the media could turn it into a false flag in a way,
right? And
where like no matter what side he's on, they're gonna try to make it so he's on the right.
Well, dude, the media, from what I saw, like I said, I was traveling, so when I got back, it was all over, and I kind of saw all the avalanche of what had happened. I saw no buildup; I just saw all the aftermath. And
I was following it all day. And of course
Jesus, they made it sound like it was some kind of like a right-wing militia uprising that happened with a police helicopter that fucking crashed and people getting run over by cars.
Yeah, see, the helicopter was separate, wasn't it? That had nothing to do with the driver.
No, the helicopter had nothing to do with the driver. Everything that I saw was the helicopter was out because of all the hullabaloo that was going on. And so they were kind of in a convoluted way saying that because of the right-wing agitators, the helicopter crashed.
Yeah, even now they're saying 3 dead during white supremacist rally. So everything you see about it is 3 dead from white nationalist rally.
The way it's framed, you're right. It's 3 dead from alt-right white nationalist rally. When in reality, it's two people died from a helicopter crash that really was that was no one's fault. And 1 person's dead from the being run over by a car, and that one's unclear at best. Would that be an accurate summation of what happened?
I think it's pretty clear he did it.
No. I know he did it, but I don't think people know his true motives yet, though, right? Nobody knows that.
No, because I was looking constantly, because I was like, oh, shit, if this guy's on the right wing, this is bad. They never said anything about his leanings until today, where like now they're saying like his ex-professors are like, oh, he was a white supremacist leanings, and his mom said he was going to a rally or something like that. It's kind of strange.
How do you have white supremacist leanings? Like, isn't that pretty extreme?
I don't know.
How do you sort of like lean towards? I'm like 40% a Nazi.
All of his friends were white, so he must be a white supremacist. He doesn't look like the cover of the textbooks with his Asian girlfriend and black best friend.
And the 3 of us are white supremacists. We don't have any friends of color.
I got 1. I don't like him, though.
Well, if you don't like him, it's not your friend, jackass.
There's still, the usual weird things going on with the two, with the whole, the usual. It took them all day to release the guy's name.
Yeah, and picture.
Yeah, name and picture.
But I mean, basically, I think like obviously the story is the 3 people who died. I mean, that's never good. That's always a tragedy when someone dies. But
2 state troopers too. So, and I mean, they're pinning it on him, which is not good.
And it's amazing how even Fox News was spinning it, and
there was a point between when I was just flipping back and forth. Fox was actually worse than MSNBC.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's probably somebody overcompensating. They probably feel like they need to.
Yeah,
they already think they're perceived as the alt-right sympathizer network.
Something I did notice from the beginning, which was weird, was all the channels kept saying there was no license plate.
Well, yeah, and there obviously was.
So let's take a little tally. False flag?
There's funky things from entire day of watching it.
Yes.
But I would be cautious and say no. But it could change very fast because we don't know anything.
Yeah, see, I'm not going to say yes or no, but I will say that there are some conveniently, misplaced information, just because you don't really even know the guy's true motives.
No, we don't know his motives. There's these weird pictures of the car not surrounded by police or crime tape or anyone. Or the driver when it was pulled over. Then you have people saying that it was pulled over not by cops, but like black SUVs, and that there was multiple people there on this. So
multiple people. Where did you cut out?
At the car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say no. I don't want to get into the whole conspiracy theory, false flag thing at all. I think that there's just a lack of information. I think it's kind of obvious that like See, I don't even know I think the most lame scenario was probably what happened. I think it's someone who kind of got probably caught up in all the shit and got freaked out and just tried to get out of it and did it the worst way possible. I don't think there's any false flag or anything like that. I don't.
They were gonna play it like bitches, like, because that's pretty much just how they do. They love going like, oh my God, look at all this and this hate, and like, you know, I don't know, it's fucking ridiculous.
Oh God, if it turns out it was an accident, they're still gonna say 3 people died.
Right. Yeah. See, and that's the more important. It won't even matter what happened in the end because the narrative's already been pushed. They already have their answers and the culprit and the story they want. So it's, you know, if it turns out to be against what they want to happen, you know, you'll never hear it.
I was thinking about that earlier today, that like the shot heard around the world in the Civil War had to be like some drunken fucking retard douchebag like this guy. Yeah. That just like, for no other reason, maybe he was shooting at a squirrel and like, oh great, Civil War now. Right. And like just the irony of it that you're starting a civil war over the Civil War. Like
yeah, really.
Keck has smiled upon us once again, but yes. You know, he's got chaos. What do you expect? He turns on you.
Well,
you summoned his magic.
It's out now. There's nothing you can do.
Oh, and let's not forget, Trump says the perfect presidential thing, and it's still not fucking good enough.
I thought his response was fine, but you got to figure it was never going to be enough for some people.
No.
You know, what do they want him to say? You know, all white people should hang their head in shame today?
The problem is that some people, they have such a platform to just spray their diarrhea vocalization on pretty much everything that happens.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I thought his response was, if anything, I wasn't happy that Antifa wasn't mentioned at all. You know, it seems like I said before, the violence didn't start until they got there.
And on top of that, too, I don't know if I already said this, but the right, they were there open carrying fucking rifles. Yeah. You know, like, how come none of them went off, you know?
Exactly.
If they're so crazy and so violent, how come no one's dead from getting shot? And let's not forget, like, the guy that had the little speech today, I think he was the whole thing. He mentioned that the police didn't fucking do shit, and they really didn't.
No, that was Richard Spencer even put out a statement that the police aren't going to be afraid, even though, quote unquote, white supremacist nationalists, because they know they're not going to, even if they're carrying guns, they're not going to do anything. They're going to have a monochrome of civility to them, so they can't.
The whole point of them carrying the guns is to not use it.
Right. And I tell you what, the other thing that I addressed a little bit on social media and with some friends personally was I do have friends.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do have bacon.
Yes. But I was talking about this fucking, you know, the self-righteous outrage that everyone is so vocally expressing. They're so upset with the people and they can't believe that this is America in 2017. And I said to some people, I'm like, listen, you know, let's not fucking bullshit each other. There's never a peep out of you people when the 13% burn down a city and throw rocks and for some thug that was shot. So I don't want to fucking hear about it when nothing happens here.
Not to mention, they're grandstanding for their own narcissism. Shut the fuck up.
I know, they're so exhausting. Get the fuck out of here. Bunch of pussies.
Yeah. Update from Melissa Milano.
On Twitter?
Yeah. Just walked into a Christmas store in New York and someone arranged all the elf arms in Nazi salutes. I'm sick to my stomach. Hashtag fire Bannon.
The elves kind of have like a similar kind of industrial complex that Germany had around the Nazi era. They were building all this stuff and, you know, the Workers' Party and the elves, they would easily become Nazis, especially if they started building tanks.
Well, we wanted to just do a little update because there was just so much shit going on. We didn't feel right not saying something about it until next week. I don't know. It doesn't look good, and hopefully nobody else gets hurt. Nothing else happens. But do you guys have any last things you want to say about it? I'll give you the floor.
Will reign supreme.
That sounded so cool. It got all choppy and robotic. Chris, let's close with the Chris's statements. Go ahead.
Just gonna have to see what happens.
All right.